I just had an idea. No, I think this is okay, at least for now. I'm going to stream this to just chatting. And then after just chatting, I'm going to go in and play a little Fortnite because I have a Fortnite idea. And in my mind, I'm just like thinking, oh, you're doing it again. You're like, you're coming up with this one thing that you promised yourself you were going to focus on. And then what have I done from that time that I made that promise? And today, I've added 2 things that I think I can do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. The life and the overwhelm. It's real. I don't know. Weird. 2025 is a weird year already. I feel like I'm either in the middle of a crash out or just barely recovered from a crash out. I guess we'll figure that out in a month or two. Like if I can just kind of deal with my life as it is over those 2 months and don't continue to crash out. But I'm trying not to. I feel like a big relationship I had is over. I have to kind of just get to acceptance as fast as you can. See, you know what I think you should do when you're getting over things? I think you should feel the stages of grief, but always try and go back to acceptance. Because it's like, I think grief is this complex thing where it's like we have the stages of grief and they become like a societal thing that we talk about and kind of accept as a society. But I think because they are like in stages, we think there's an order, but there's not an order to grief. You're going to feel, the bargaining sometimes, and then you're going to feel the anger sometimes, and you're going to feel like I forget all of them, the grief sometimes, and you're going to feel the acceptance sometimes. But out of all of those feelings, like maybe you do need to feel them, but the only one that you can like launch pad into like a brighter future from is acceptance. So just don't forget about acceptance, and not forgetting has kind of been a theme of my day and my year so far, because that's like my life in a nutshell. Is I have all these big ideas. I think if I can just do them, like they're ideas that like take time, and if I can just do them for a long enough time, the big ideas will come together. But I can never do them for enough time. I'm not consistent. Someone like talked about having a box where you put all your ideas, and at the end of the week you review the box. Well, then the only problem is then you have to review your ideas every week. So like, who's going to do that? Like that takes focus and discipline. So I have little faith in this, but I have my little notes that I've made to myself, and I have a box in the corner. I'm not going to show you the box because the box looks like it's a very fuckable box. It's like the hole I didn't carve a slit in the box. And this is kind of counterintuitive. I didn't cause a slit in the box. I carved a hole in the box. And now it looks like a very fuckable box. And I just have to live with that embarrassment that that I'm like, oh, I'm going to create a box with all these ideas. Like, what box did you make? I even had an idea of lining the edge of the box, like the edge of the hole I cut with duct tape. For a split second, I had that idea unironically, just to like maintain the integrity of the cut because it's cardboard. And I said, oh my God, I made a box you can fuck to put my ideas in. So right now I have ideas. A lot of them are ideas for managing ADHD. This is a Fortnite tip I wrote down. Tap your foot to steady your hand and foot. Okay. I forget okay. So if you're having a hard time steadying your hand, let's see. Right now, maybe I can do it because I'm all jacked up on caffeine. But if you're having a hard time steadying your hand, you can tap your foot and it kind of like sends that nervous energy or like occupies that part of your brain that wants to tap. That's like a bro science way of explaining it. So I was thinking like all those times I'm fucking jacked up on Fortnite, start tapping my foot to steady the hands. It's a real tip that I'm going to stand by. Okay, this is a good one. I want a virtual assistant just for a little bit. I want like someone who can just freaking help me. It's like you pay a therapist to help you. Like why can't you pay like a person to help you with things that aren't therapy? I don't know, admin stuff. This is a really bad joke. It's not even. It's going to be less coherent than all of that. This is some supplements for ADHD. This is a tag to a lesser bad joke, but still a really bad joke. And then, okay, so I got a list. See, I always come in hot on the podcast. It's like, I got to go for 25 more minutes. We're going to get introspective. I shouldn't blow through these bad notes if if I don't have confidence in my ability to talk in complete sentences at a rate that people aren't gonna just tune me out. But one time I was at a party. Not a party, I was at a bar. But the vibe was like a party. A bar is just a party where you don't know anybody yet. A bar is just a party you can throw up at and still go back to. Okay. The guy who told me this later threw up in the night, so that connection, like I just saw him just stop, like and like his body was steady, his stomach was steady. He stopped, boom. You could like see the muscles. The guy like freaking flexing the booze. The body did not want to process that booze, and he loosed. Let that hang. Let that hang right there. That bad joke. Was that okay? Oh, but this was his podcast tip advice. His podcast tip, or it's kind of like thing. I'll just tell you what it is, and then we can break it down. Sorry. I just know now I'm going to look back at this on editing, and there's going to be like, your mouth is nasty. How's it look? His podcast advice was be the thing your audience falls asleep to. It's like a hard thing to be. I thought it made sense. I thought if you became that, there's not many my kind of unwind podcast time is like a little bit more like streaming. I'll watch people play video games to kind of unwind. Not like I don't unwind to stories, but his and I followed it because I try to support. I can't promise that I'm going to listen to your content. Like this is like on a personal level. This is not the entire internet. Sorry guys, but I'll support people who I know and follow them. Like if you're doing something, as someone who's trying to do something and is so like scared to like own it, like when someone's like, yeah, this is my podcast, or yeah, this is my Instagram page where I share my art. It's like, yeah, dude, that's sick. I'm following that. Like people being stingy with the follows. I get it. I get the status game, but I also get that it does hurt people's feelings to not follow them. Like people do get mad. It's like, and here I am, just like, oh, I don't want to make this person mad, so of course I'll follow you. Am I being a pushover? I don't know. I kind of framed it as, yeah, I press this button, this guy gets a little bit of happiness. It was like, I don't know. I didn't think I was making a statement about being a spineless person, but I got a lot of personality traits. And that's kind of what I'm realizing too. Yeah, I'm kind of realizing ADHD is real. And I had it, and I was kind of somebody who was a little bit poo pooed it. And there's a lot to poo poo because it's like probably very frustrating for the world to see like this group of people. Like you're basically, you know, I like my in my moments of self deprecation, I call it like it's kind of like like a disorder that turns you into a loser. It's like you can't finish anything. You're impulsive. You don't remember like people like to maintain social relationships. Like you're impulsive. You're more likely to like seeking dopamine, so you're seeking drugs. So like you're more likely to become a drug addict. Like you can't. Yeah, like the not being able to finish things. I think that is for me in some ways the thing that hurts the most. Because it's like okay, the addiction thing is really sad. And yeah, like I have the mind of a crack addict, and I've smoked weed like for over half of my life. Like the addiction, it's real and it's sad. But as someone who like has always been able to flirt with, I don't know, it's like just rationalizing and justifying years of poor behavior and like abuse to my body. It's like, but I'm still here, so it's okay, guys. I still made it to this room with a globe behind me. And this is good. But no, like I haven't fallen. I've fallen prey to a lot of addictions, but I guess not in a way that it's been so earth shattering. The more kind of painful thing to my ego, and like the more earth shattering, like kind of like realization of like this is why my life sucks. Is like is the quitting, and the starting over, and the changing directions, and the like the no stick to itness, because it's like I know, and I deeply believe in my plums, in my giant peaches. Okay, that doesn't work. I truly believe in my plums that consistency, doing something over time, doing kind of one thing over time, it works for people. You become great at one thing, and once you become great at one thing, you have so much resources to just do whatever you want. Like once you've like purposely like developed one aspect of your life, usually like in a financial way, but by like honing in and becoming great at something, then you kind of have like the resources to be really good at other things. I think is what I'm trying to say. Like you have the resource to like pivot and do something else that's takes like you have like the like you have one like the confidence and two the like the resources to really develop elsewhere. But if you tried to like go down a million different hallways, you never ever get to any room. And I think that's kind of where I am. Is like the people who work for 10 years at something and become great, they just walk down that one hallway, and eventually he found a room that was filled with cold. And then from there, all the other rooms are kind of attached more efficiently than this weird hallway you were stuck in. So you can just kind of hop into other rooms. But then with ADHD, it's like do something for a year, 180, or maybe it's an adjacent hallway. It probably is an adjacent hallway. That's probably why you could probably trick yourself to say like, oh, all these adjacent hallways will lead to a room. But no, it's like, oh, let's pop down this hallway. Oh, okay, I walked this far. I'm gonna turn around and start a brand new, or go off this fork in the road and go down another corridor. So it's like, and like I said in the beginning of this episode, I'm doing it here. This is me avoiding doing the one thing that I was like, this is the one thing. So it's kind of like I said last episode. I don't want one YouTube channel. I want 5 YouTube channels. I don't want one. I don't want to be a YouTube. I don't want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a stand-up comedian, Fortnite YouTuber, amazing podcast, business owner, 5 YouTube pages. Like, but I can't do one. I don't know. See what's. There's a part of me that like it is crazy, because then there's a part of me that's like, well, maybe that's how you have to do it. But I don't know. I'm embracing this ADHD thing, and it's like it's kind of sick what it does. Like, it is a little victim-y. It is a little like like flagellation, I think is what they call it, where you just kind of like, it's a pity party. Sometimes it feels like a pity party. And I really, as much as it affects me, and I didn't realize how much it affected me until now, 33. I'm just there's so much to be grateful for. And I can't let it become a reason. I can't fall into the loser disorder. Because that's really what it can be for a lot of people. You're, like I said, your brain's all fucked up. So you're looking for dopamine. So you're doing so you're doing drugs. It's just like, now you're doing drugs. It's like, what's next? You're going to jail. Like, you just become a loser. The one antidote, and I wish I could remember his name, because I'm pretty sure I heard it from someone who was talking about someone who was on Joe Rogan, and I never listened to him. I want to say his name's like Mate or something, so please forgive me for not being able to recall that. But someone read one of his books, and the guy like worked with people with addiction. He's a therapist, and he found like that a lot of the people who were on the street were actually treated with ADHD medicine, or when treated with ADHD medicine, their addiction was easier to kick. So it's like, there is a pity party, and believe me, I RSVP'd to the pity party. Just kind of accepting the parts of myself that I'm ashamed of, I think it is, with it, like being emotional. There's a part of me that's like, sorry, my phone's ringing. Guys, I got the plague on my phone. I get freaking the healthcare scams, and it was just lighting up, and it was distracting me. Dang it, I was on something good there too. I felt it. Thought about the pity party. Oh yeah. It helps me kind of understand the parts of myself that I'm so like ashamed of. It's like, like, and I think that there is that liberation of having, it's don't hide things in the fog. That's what Jordan Peterson is. It's like, you can't combat what you don't know that you're And now that I do know what I'm combating, I got a list of over-the-counter things that seem to help people. Like, right, taking pills every day is going to be hard for me. I think there's so many. There's some that I'm kind of sketch on trying, and there's some that I'm kind of excited to try. This increasing your fatty acid, the EPA, and I think I wrote about this other one, the DHA, these fatty acids. Find them in fish. That seems to be a cheat code. It sucks because I take them and I think they fuck with my stomach. And then I tried eating sardines, and I don't. Sardines suck. They're gross. They're disgusting. Their spine is still in there. So it's like I have these deep grooves Look at some of my fillings. I have these deep grooves, and the spine gets like stuck in between my teeth, and it's so fucking nasty. It doesn't taste horribly, but there's so much nastiness to it, and it started fucking up my stomach. So I don't want to do sardines. I don't really like the fatty acid pills, so I got to figure out a way to get that, like my dosage of those fatty acids, because I think that's like just good, good for people who don't have ADHD too. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Rhonda Patrick, they convinced me with what they said. The studies were like mood and like cognitive ability. I think Rhonda said once people who take enough of their fatty acids, omega-3s, they live longer because they're thinking clearer and they're not making those stupid fatal accidents. Like, which is probably an ADHD thing, like stupid fatal accidents. But yeah, I gotta get out of the pity party. I'm gonna just start with EPA and maybe one other. I got a bag of pills coming my way from Amazon. Yeah, I'm gonna start with the fatty acids, even though I gotta find a good source for it, because I think they're gonna do the most help, and I think they're the something that like supplementing with isn't gonna have a weird side effect. I think I can like do that consistently, and my body's gonna always want that. Where some of these other things are fucking alpha something. Yeah, okay. Alpha GPC trosine. Like I can't. Like, these are 15, 20 letter words. My gut's saying, okay, we're gonna experiment with these. It is cool. Like I was looking at them, and a lot of the comments and claimed effects are like focus and memory. So there are products that are advertised as focus and memory products. So I'm excited, but I'm trying and get that fatty acid, and I'm gonna pick one more to try. I have to see. So there's, from what I remember, is some of these things increase your dopamine, and some of these things increase your dopamine receptors, or they increase your dopamine precursors. I'm not going to be able to keep it all straight, but I've been a coffee guy, and it's been fine, except for this past week. This past week I can't sleep. So there's a part of me that's like just accepts. It's like, okay, if that's my lot in life, if drinking 3 cups of coffee is my lot in life, it's like, I can control the amount of sugar and like stuff. And coffee is like, I think is like it's one of those things, one of those weird drinks that's I think is 0 calories. And so I don't feel too bad about drinking too much caffeine until it fucks with my sleep. And just tired of being a loser too. Just don't want to forget my goals anymore and switch goals. I want to keep my goals. I want this. So I'm going to try some of these things. I think there's a ton of other natural remedies that sounds like meditating and focusing on your internal state. That was suggested by Huberman. He said if you did that once, it would really change your ability to focus indefinitely, potentially. So that's wild. Indefinite, like a lasting change just from meditation. That's really something I would love to stay consistent with. I think that's going to pay off too, the meditation game. Like for someone who has ADHD. I was medicated a lot as a child. I mean, I don't know how much, but it feels like it was a lot. And maybe that was a good thing. Like, I always had a chip on my shoulder about it. Because it doesn't have to do with how smart you are. At least that's what Andrew Huberman said, and I'm gonna cope. Yeah, it might manifest, it might look to the world like you're stupid and forgetful. But That's not actually what is true. So I believe that. So it's like, okay, you're not a dummy. You're just, I don't know, a buffoon. You're just a loser. Oh yeah, I had one other ADHD, actually two others, I guess. Um, there's gonna be three now. Diet and exercise, which is definitely two. It's not. That's not the same thing. Diet and exercise are not the same thing. If and cold showers. So those three. I think that's enough of a toolkit for me. Like a good, like, yeah, and a good team, like a support system. So it's so hard for me to ask for help. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of my world now. Is I kind of want to like basically not forget that I have it, and not, because that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like I lived my life. I don't know if in denial or just in the moment or just caught up in my brain chemistry. And I just kind of poo pooed it because so many people were poo pooing it. And it's like, it is normal human stuff that people are dealing with. Um, yeah, just mine to a greater degree. So, I poo pooed it, And then, I have a failed relationship, kind of like a regressive thing. And, someone at work, like, told me to stop chewing because it was affecting their ADHD, which kind of hurt my feelings because guess what? People with ADHD are sensitive. So, like something like, and I started chewing a half of a piece of gum. So there's less gum. So I tried to accommodate that request. I get that that's annoying because it's probably me fidgeting. There is something crazy. They're like, oh, they give ADHD kids rubber bands. It's like I have rubber bands have always kind of been a weird part of my life in so many ways. And I'm gonna be like, I have a rubber band right here. I don't even have one. It's over there. It's not an arm's length. But now that I think about it even more than just I have rubber bands and I use them. There's been like two or three memorable rubber band moments in my life. And so they give them to kids so you can sit still. It's a fidget. They give them as a thing to fidget with. So it's like, have a thing to fidget with. Maybe like, and like I said, maybe the gum was my fidget. Um, it's funny. I was like, "Oh yeah, this gum. I'm gonna chew this gum, and it's gonna give me a bitchin' jawline, and all the honeys are gonna." Those are the type of things I tell myself sometimes when I'm chomping away, disrupting everyone else's day with my loud ass chewing. It's because I need this jawline to be angular. You need to be able to cut a knife off this sharpen a knife off this jawline. But yeah, the rubber bands. I was just like, okay, why am I like, I'm just like dealing with relationships? Like, why like intimate relationships have been so hard for me? Like, why like I'm just a fucking nutcase? Like, I always told myself, I'd said, oh, I need to just find someone who's crazier than me. And you know what? I probably shouldn't. I should probably be in a relationship where I'm the craziest, but we've developed enough trust and X, Y, and Z so that I'm not like being flung into emotional disorder by all my chatter and sensitivity. So I don't want to be the craziest one in the relationship anymore because Honestly, I feel like a woman. I feel like I feel like I have experiences that society say are women experiences when it comes to like emotions and stuff. And I think it's just because, not because I'm a woman, it's because you're a woman, Aaron. I'm not a woman. Don't know why. I don't know why. Like, that's how fucked up everything is right now. That, like, there's a group of people that, it doesn't matter, that people feel like you have to defend. You gotta fight for your gender. You gotta defend it. I'm gonna do that joke. I have a good gender joke. I actually have a couple. It's not good at all, but it's like there's a part in it that actually makes me laugh, so it's good. But you have to get through some unfunny parts. Sometimes the funniest thing is the things that are funny and actually get the laugh. And it's like, you don't want them to be funny. You want to fight. You want to be like, this isn't funny. This is hack. This is stupid. But it's like, I'm thinking about it. It's making me smile. Uncontrollably. Like, that's it. You found it. You found what you think is funny. It's like, it doesn't matter if someone could shit on it as like from a structural or whatever joke quality standard. That's my joke philosophy, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. And one more. Okay. Woo, 3 jokes that I wanted to do. Because see, it's like that would be my life, is I would remember those 3 jokes, feel deep in my plums, like, I don't know why I'm saying that. But I'd feel it that I'd want to do those jokes. And then by the time I'd get to the comedy room, I'd be like, what? I knew with all my being what I wanted to do. And for the love of me, I was like, not for the love of God. I would find it eventually, but there would be like a moment where it would be fucking gloves are off. Like, it's bare knuckled digging through my brain to pull out something. Okay, I did my time. That's how we're doing this. We're doing 30 minutes, rambly style. I did a podcast where I found stories. I just feel like a sucker. Digging up their stories, talking about the distractions. Not that I'm not going to do that. Not that I'm better than that, because I love that shit. I just feel manipulated and like a sucker sometimes by the media space. And me, boo-hooing about my fucking stupid brain. It takes less work. I don't know. Trying to be a little bit more authentic.